We finally know the system specs for Cyberpunk 2077, as they were shown at the end of the Night City Wire 3 event. Now you may have been wondering if your PC could handle the game. I mean, they have been showing so many images and footage that looks like you need the new RTX 3080. And luckily you don't, and that's great, because I mean, who even got one anyways? Definitely wasn't me. Now, let's take a look at what we're working with. For the minimum specs, you're gonna need Windows 7 64-bit or Windows 10 64-bit, DirectX 12. Now, moving to the processors, it's an Intel Core i5-3570K or an AMD FX 8310. These are ancient processors. We're talking 2012 and 2014. Any PC gamer should have something a little bit better than this by now. And in case you don't, apparently your CPU will still work. You need 8 gigs of RAM, which most PCs should have as well. Now, moving on to graphics cards, it's going to be an NVIDIA GTX 780 or an AMD Radeon RX 470. Still, these are very old cards. And I'm not going to lie guys, I still have a 1050 Ti, so I can still use it on the lowest settings. But a lot of PC gamers like me who haven't updated their card in a while should still be able to play Cyberpunk at launch. CD Projekt finally told us the game storage size as well, being 70 gigs, with the recommendation of an SSD, which does make sense. The game is going to need the fastest load times to get the experience CDPR is trying to achieve, and a regular hard drive just won't cut it. Now, I'm going to assume this is all on low settings, 30 frames, but nevertheless, it's still playable at the lowest state. Now, moving on to the recommended requirements, which I think myself and literally everybody else watching thought these specs were going to be the minimum ones. Obviously, the OS is going to be Windows 10 64-bit, same DirectX 12. Now, here is where the processors are going to be a little bit more updated, with the Intel Core i7-4790 and the AMD Ryzen 3 3200G, which still isn't that bad. These CPUs now are like $100 to $130, so if you did need to upgrade, it wouldn't be super costly. Instead of 8 gigs of memory, you're going to need 12 here, and again, most PCs should have this. The recommended required graphics cards are the GTX 1060 6GB or the AMD Radeon R9 Fury, and this is where my 1050 Ti needs help. But these cards are still older, and most PC gamers will have the equivalent of these or better with the NVIDIA 20 series. The storage is the same, SSD 70 gigs. Now, these are definitely not specs for 4K 60 frames ultra graphics with ray tracing. You're obviously going to need the new RTX 30 series for that, and good luck. But the recommended should be 1080p 60 frames, as I still think that's the benchmark for a lot of PC gamers. These specs are very low compared to what I thought they were going to be, and I think others would agree. Now, if you don't have a PC for this, the next gen consoles should have an easy time getting the most out of Cyberpunk, and for $500 for the whole thing. So if your PC still needs more of an upgrade, you can go that route as well. What do you guys think about the specs for Cyberpunk? Are they what you were expecting, or are you anxiously waiting to see if your PC was going to blow up? Don't forget to sub so you don't miss any Cyberpunk info, and until next time, remember, always take it to the edge. It's the Cyberpunk way.